And we're live. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Thursday evening Women's Hangout. You are hanging out with a panel of powerful dream warriors. We're going to talk about the human movement again. We talked about it last week, and we just want to talk about it again. We kind of just branched into what it is, what it means to each of us last week. And this week, maybe we'll just go a little bit deeper and talk about how it's enhanced our business or how it can enhance your business or wherever the conversation goes, but that's kind of where it's going to start. There was a TED Talks video done, I think it was about a year ago, by Sarah Hill, and she coined the term as human media, and she literally went into detail about can you see me, and she was quite dramatic about the importance of actually having eye contact, and how Kristen last week was talking about even the nonverbal communication, the body gestures and everything that can really enhance communication. How can that not improve your business relationships, whether it's with your team or with your prospects? I just don't see how it can't. So it's just really exciting, and I think it's valuable to discuss at whatever depth. Another reason why it's so important and valuable for us to talk about it, and for you as our viewers to engage with us, and maybe even give us some feedback on each of our sites wherever you find this content, is Empower Network is coming out with ENV2, and once you find out all the details about what ENV2 is, it totally ties into this topic of the human movement, because it's going to be so much easier for everybody to share the content. It's just going to be so much more human, so much more social and engaging, so it ties all into it. All of social media is actually doing the same thing. If there's more video, more pictures, we're all engaging more. I think it went for too long maybe just being texts and videos and stuff like that. So we're just going to get into discussing it. Does anybody have a burning desire to start? I put Dana on the spot last week. Julie.
Oh, I get the spot. The human movement. I personally am thrilled that we are moving out of this impersonal world of text and Twitter to the Google Hangouts and what we're going to be doing with ENV2, because I actually love the human contact. I love personally seeing you ladies rather than just sending a Facebook message to a photograph that may or may not be you. And when we have our events and I actually physically get to meet you and touch your hand or give you a hug or make that personal eye contact, it not only does it make it seem more real, to me, I don't know, I'm just trying not to sound too squishy. My heart feels better. My heart feels much better that I know that you're real. There's that connection that then makes me feel real, and everything that we're doing and involved in much more real when I know that you're a human being, feeling your energy rather than just reading a text or a message, because when I'm doing that, all I'm doing is hearing my own voice in my head, or just reading words in black and white, and the interpretation can be thrown off. But when I have the opportunity to see your face and see your eyes move, or a smile on your face, or I can hear the inflection in your voice, it brings more realism to it, and then I know that we're actually having a conversation rather than having two separate monologues and somehow trying to connect those two puzzle pieces together, which oftentimes they don't fit. There can be miscommunication involved in that. So it's wonderful that we have the chance to bring this world of internet and disconnect back into connection, because I think all of you are awesome. I mean, you're all beautiful, and it's so nice to see your faces. So nice. And to hear your voices. So that's my small take on it.
And that is so fitting because the very first time I met you, Julie, was, well, actually the very first time I met everybody on this panel was in a Google Hangout. But there was nothing precursing you and I, Julie, before that Hangout. Like, it was Sandy that invited you to hang out. So we had no other connection. We may not even be connected yet if we wouldn't have hung out that day. One Hangout, I think, was, what, 15, 20 minutes? And we've never physically met, and yet we both feel energetically connected, and we're continuing to build a relationship. And it was just as simple as that. How cool is that?
Very, it's very, very cool. It's true.
I have to agree with that. I mean, this whole Google Hangout has really been, it's all very new to me. So, but having a human resources background, obviously people, and I need to be around people, and, in our current, what we do, internet marketing, whatever, sometimes that doesn't allow us to do that as much as we typically did or did before. So being able to do this, it feels just like you're, I know you all. I've never met any of you, well, other than Dana, but it does still feel like, we have this common bond, and that I know you all, lovely ladies. So I'm so happy with what's happening right now. I'm really loving it.
Awesome. Kristen?
Yeah, I like it too, because I know, like, lots of times, like, when people, like, post short texts, there's so much that can be misinterpreted or read in between the lines, and yeah. I know, like, me personally, like, I'll post things out of humor. I like to be funny, but there's so much more to a person than that short little smart phrase that they like to throw out there. And, yeah, you just really get to know somebody in a much different way. I mean, just following Julie. I've been following Julie on Facebook quite a bit lately, and I love that she uses, like, the Trailer Park Boys. I think it's hilarious. So, but then to actually meet her and talk with her, it's, it's great, because you see the other side of her too. She's not just this Trailer Park Boy herself,
I know when I first started, getting a little braver in social media on Google Plus and Facebook and stuff, mostly what I was, it's because it was in the forefront of my thoughts at the time, but mostly what I was posting was all my techie stuff, like all technical stuff, and either whether it was advice or, oh, hey, I learned this. And so when people first were starting to get to know me when I was doing Hangouts and stuff, they said, oh, there's another side than just that techie girl. So there is that part of it. Like, we're multi-layered, and the only way you can get to know that really is to get a little bit of eye contact and actually conversation.
Yeah, I think that, these Hangouts that you've been having, Susan, you talked about, it's not the techie part, it's the relationship part, and these different subjects that you have makes, it's like, I don't know if you could say it's entertainment for people, but it's storytelling, and it's engagement, and it's what people want. It's like our lives are getting revealed on camera here, because we start getting into these subjects, and people that are watching this can relate to us really on a different level. I mean, it's not such a businessy type of level. It's more of a, like, I think we talked about it last time, sit across the kitchen table from you and just have a conversation. I mean, I feel like we all need to have a glass of wine in our hand or something. I mean, because that's what it really feels like. And so
next week.
Yeah, next week.
There you go.
But, it's I guess, like when we talked about the reality show that when we were in Thailand, what do people want? They want entertainment. They want interaction. They want human interaction. That's what you get on this type of a hangout, when you have different personalities talking about a subject that we're passionate about, the human movement in our business, and just the whole way that our whole planet is becoming so much more energetically connected. just every day it is. It's amazing to me that, you know, I mean, we could have had a person from Australia on this if we wanted to. We can have a person from Spain on this. I mean, that's just mind-boggling to me. I mean, our globe is connected. We're just it's a global movement, really. So
Yeah.
I love what you're doing, and it's and I talked about this last time, is how much more self-confident I've gotten on these Hangouts, and I think it builds all of our self-confidence, and hopefully that will come through the screen, and other people will go, well, gosh, I want to be more self-confident too. I like those girls. I think they're fun. I think they, you know, I want to be a part of that. You know, that's it's engaging. It's we're drawing people in, and I think that's the whole point of it.
Yeah, and my aim with really kind of trying to challenge my creative titles is to be a little bit intrusively, what's the next word I'm trying to think? Dig a little bit deeper, just gently, intrusively. Just say, come on, like pull some of that essence, your true essence out of you. And let's run with it and show people who we really are, so that they know how fun it is to make money while you're hanging out.
I love the
had
part.
my last 2 members that joined. It took me 2 weeks of emails and just little short coaching conversations on the phone to finally convince them. Just, okay, we don't have to go on air. Just me and you, we're going to hang out. FaceTime it. That's how I coach. We have to be. I have to see your eyes so that I can know if you're ready for the next topic or whatever. So finally got them on there, and they're like, "Oh, this isn't that bad."
Oh, so you're coaching your new members through this medium. Oh, that's awesome, because you know what? You're training them to be comfortable with it too.
I'm really.
That's fantastic. Oh, I love that. Yeah.
I don't want anybody to have to do it themselves, like I did. I had to just poke and prod myself to get on video because I was so afraid. So I pull everybody
I love
up.
that. That's cool.
That's
Well, and it
great.
lets them know that you're real too. You're not just some, I don't know, just some person on the other end of the line. You're passionate, and you're caring about them, and you're really trying to help them.
Very
Yeah, and all of our Hangouts go to my list. They're all forced to see that link, whether they watch it or not. I don't know that. Tell them all about it.
That's awesome.
And the more Hangouts I send them to, they must be watching at least part of them, because I'm getting more and more emails back, responding every day, like as if they're my friends.
That's awesome.
So.
I really love your Hangout, Susan, because I feel a lot less isolated. And, you know, working at home, I feel really isolated. And like I said before, I know that there are other people out there doing that, and I'm connected in Facebook groups. And, you know, I read the blogs and things that people post, but I still feel, well, sometimes really lonely. And I know that on Thursday nights, I actually get to hang out with real women that do what I do, and then we could just have these conversations, because, you know, prior to these Hangouts, it was a telephone, but even still, it's not the same thing when I get to see you. And so I feel a lot less isolated since being invited to do these Hangouts with you, and a lot more self-confident speaking on camera and on the phone because of it. So it's been like an amazing training session that you've started.
Yeah, I agree.
Yes.
I really agree with that. Totally. Yeah.
So if we imagine, like, any of our viewers or any of you that are watching, it doesn't matter which one of us have sent you this video to watch, if you've never done online marketing, or if you've never done a Hangout or anything, we're just so easily demonstrating to you that you can do this, because every one of us started not have done this before. In our first few, we were so nervous, and here we are just chatting every week, except last week got all goofed up because the links wouldn't go through in a message, but we still did it, right?
Yeah.
And I've been promising for weeks to have a real nice fancy capture page. Actually, there's Thursday afternoons. Today was the premiere. I don't know if you guys saw it, but the oh no, I forget what they're called. Empowered
Moms.
Mommy Coffee.
Yeah, I missed it. I was in a meeting.
The coffee breaks. Yeah. Have you seen their page?
Mhm.
Beautiful.
No.
It's super cool. The coffee cup that's right by there. The background is a TV screen, and then the video is sitting inside of the TV screen. And then there's a coffee cup right there, and the coffee cup is animatedly steaming.
Cool.
That's cool.
Very cool.
Well, since we have a late night one, maybe we should have like a martini glass or a
There you
wine
go.
glass or something.
And it would be cool if right at the 25-minute mark, if it spills over. Okay, that's beyond my technical possibilities.
We'll research that. The part
Maybe
that
you
I
could
really
talk
love.
Adam, Kristen. I'm
Yeah,
sorry,
I just wrote it down actually.
Yeah, there you go.
Anna. Sorry, Anna.
That's okay. No worries. I just love the fact that we're sitting here, and as Dana said before, because that's actually what I was thinking, was we could be talking, we could be anywhere in the world, you know, and we're sitting here like, you know, with each other just as if we are having coffee together, but literally we could be all over the world, and that's just for me, you know, no walls, no boundaries. It's pretty freaking phenomenal, I have to say. It's just because we are. I mean, we're making friendships all over the world. So to be able to connect with people in this way and just be able to talk to them as if they're right here is pretty amazing.
My Wednesday afternoon regular hangout, Wayne Eaton is on there, and he's from the UK.
Yeah.
So,
Wow.
Michael Levy is in the States, and I'm in Canada, and Wayne is in the UK, and we meet on Wednesday afternoon. So that's kind of cool. That's my global one.
That's great.
Very cool.
Fun.
The one we were just on, I mean, we had, you know, Rosanna, who's Springer. She's a regular. She always attends, and she's like in South Africa. So I don't even know what the heck time it is, but she has to, usually she'll go and take a quick nap, and then so she can get up. I don't know if it's like 3 o'clock in the morning or something like that, which is crazy. So to have, you know, people join us like that is pretty cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, neat. Very cool.
There was another topic I was going to bring up. Oh yeah, that other TED Talks video that I sent you guys with Brené Brown. She's another speaker that I really enjoy, and I mean today we're not talking anything on the vulnerability level too much, and yet I guess we did in a way, because when you're unaware or when you're nervous about coming on video, I guess you're in a vulnerable position, right? And we got each other past that by just the familiarity and the friendliness that can't be communicated within a text-based message as well. So I guess it did touch on that as well. When somebody shares feeling vulnerable, her big research on that topic of vulnerability is when we make our deepest connections. Is when we are able to actually step out in that vulnerability and be real, and then it's very much acknowledged or recognized by the other person, and that is when some of the best relationships are created.
Well, I think it's people getting out of their comfort zones too, and so then every time you do that, you grow. You grow and you change, and people see it happen. Especially when you're doing it live or on video, you can watch somebody's progression in their growth.
Yeah.
Totally.
And it is still to do with business. Yesterday, I listened to Sean Rice. He's a famous copywriter, and he teaches people how to really communicate very succinctly and in a specific rhythm on a 21-day email series to their lists. So that, like, his big theory is list building is the best way to build a solid business base. So his suggestion is that your first 3 emails to your list be engaging. But you can only engage so much in an email, right? So if you can add video to that list building, so it is very much connected with business building, not just socializing.
Oh, for sure.
I totally agree with the whole video thing. A lot of the video, or a lot of the information that I get, I don't always listen to audios. That's why YouTube has become so valuable to me, because I can actually see the person. Again, seeing the person. Because for me, I learn audio and visual. If I have one or the other, I can tend to struggle grasping and understanding. And by having video, so I'm having visual and audio at the same time, and oftentimes I'm writing so that I'm gathering the most information. Sending a video to, because I'm sure there's tons of other people out there like me that, reading an email to me is so boring and so dry that half the time I won't even finish reading it. But if there's a video link in it, I will jump on it and watch the video before I finish reading the email. And if the video is engaging, then I most certainly will. I'll finish reading the email. So I think this person's pretty fascinating. What else do they have to say? That's the way I learn. So.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's the way I learn the best as well. Is video and audio connected.
I agree. And it does bring that personal connection that you can't get anywhere other than, obviously, being right there in person. The video is the next best thing. I mean, as it's all been said before, but email or text, the text I think is probably the worst. I think that's the one that you can really, there's so much that can be interpreted or missed or, there. But nothing beats the human contact for me. So, and the personal piece of it.
I was thinking about when I was in Chicago, I went to Layla's luncheon, and she had a live hangout. Susan, were you at that luncheon? I think you said you were at the pizza place.
Nope, but I watched the live hangout.
Okay, so she has this live hangout right at the lunch. I mean, 100 women there. How engaging is that? I mean, people would come on the screen, and she'd pull another one in, and then it was fantastic. I mean, and it was so full of energy and just so much good information. She interviewed people, and then I started thinking, after that was over, then I started thinking this whole technology of Google Hangout, and now we're talking about, our ENV2 thing that's getting ready to come out, and how that whole part of the business can be really marketed to brick and mortar businesses now. I mean, that's like, you would want to engage that piece. So then I'm thinking because we know so many restaurant owners. I'm just thinking restaurants. You could literally be doing a Google Hangout in a restaurant and actually interviewing the people in the restaurant, and the restaurant owner can be live streaming that, and what the cool thing's going on. Look at this cool musician over here. Look at this fabulous meal that I just got, and it's, oh my God, it's delicious. And live streaming that and pull people in. I mean, do you see the power of this Google Hangout? I mean, we have a t-shirt business. I think I've told you guys this. We do silk screening and embroidery, and I was just thinking about this the other day. How we could actually be live streaming, because I wanted to just take a video of just the guys in the production back and just like put that on the website. But live streaming is so much more, because it's happening. It's real life. Do you know how engaging that would be? To like be live streaming them actually doing the print and holding it up, and I mean, you could just apply it anywhere. It goes across the board for everything.
It would be like the gateway or the link that would connect that brick and mortar business to online so strongly.
And it would just draw people in. I mean, I would think that would be so interesting to watch that, you know. I mean, you're like a fly on the wall. You're like getting an inside peek at it. You're like a secret peeking in kind of thing, you know.
Well, and with the restaurants too, I mean, like they have the open kitchens in some restaurants, and that's like the hot spot to get. And I mean, here you can just see it live. Yeah, it's a really good point.
Walking around with it. I mean, gee.
Yeah. It's the next step up from reviews, you know. You don't have to go to reviews anymore. You can go live and see what it looks like and feels like, you know.
It's really the next step up from a reality show, because reality, they're recording it, but you know, they're recording it, putting it out. This is like true reality. I mean, it's like happening while you're talking, you know.
You're not filming things that haven't happened yet or might not ever even happen.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think
as real as you're gonna get.
The possibilities are endless, really.
Endless.
How creative can you be with it?
Your mention of Layla Black reminded me of one of the pivotal moments that layered my self-confidence to be doing these regular hangouts. And this goes back, I believe it was last February, and it was probably maybe the third or fourth hangout that I was on. And this was the first one I was invited on somebody else's hangout. And so I was quite nervous, and there was 10 of us on the panel, and I hadn't spoke yet, and we each were able to ask Layla one question. And so I had my question all figured out ahead of time, and I'm just crossing my fingers that no one else would ask my question. And then when it got to me, I was so excited that no one had asked a question like mine or my question, that then I was all stammering, and I had trouble getting my question out. So Layla's she's patient. She's just a wonderful person to speak with. And so she just patiently waited, and I just stammered and spit it out. And it was to ask her how she became, like how she went from that shy girl that she describes, or that girl that had the mean girls and the bullying and stuff, and how she went from that to the confidence where she's at right now. Was it a couple of pivotal, huge moments, or what was it? And every other question she answered intently and was looking straight at the camera. But that question just completely moved me, and I'll probably get a bit choked up as I describe it, because it was a huge moment to me. But she paused for a moment, and then she moved right close, and she literally put her eyes right on the camera. I felt like she jumped out of the computer and was literally like holding my hand while she was telling me the answer. It was just such a moment. And there's no way you can get that with text message, even by voice on a phone. Nothing. And I go back to that moment every time I'm a little bit nervous, or whether it's a big topic. Or last week, to be honest, I was nervous because it was Debbie Turner that I was inviting. I was all excited, and she's like, why? Like, I'm just like you guys. But I had built myself up to be excited that she was coming on my hangout. So even after hundreds of hangouts, I still get nervous, and I just take 1 second and I take my freeze frame of that moment where Layla took such an intent to come straight up at that camera and look me right in the eye. That's powerful.
It is.
It's very powerful.
Sorry.
You can't get that in anything, but you can't get that text for sure.
Yeah.
It's funny, Susan, that you mentioned that there was a part of you that perhaps, I mean, for me to hear you say this was like, what is she talking about? Where you were nervous, and that you know, there wasn't a part of you that wasn't brave on these hangouts. I mean, you're doing this. I'm not even brave enough to start my own hangout. I just jump on yours. You make it so you make it inviting and easy. And I mean, I was terrified the first time with the one that you and Sandy and I did. I was terrified, and I'm getting a bit more comfortable. But I mean, even just thinking about having my own hangout, my palms get sweaty. And I'd like to attribute that more to excitement, but I'd be kidding myself. So you were actually very, very brave, and the topics that you come up with are innovative and interesting and engaging, and yeah, it's really cool. I think, and your hangouts are fun too. So you're a lot more brave than you give yourself credit.
Thank you.
Agreed.
It's because you don't see all the like working up to it beforehand.
Well, and I've even noticed the confidence that I've taken from doing these hangouts and just from like starting to do my own videos. Like I'm bringing it into like my personal life, you know, like I haven't been able to quit my job yet. I have another month and a half yet before I can leave there, and I facilitate a lot of meetings and I host things there, and my confidence level just in that has gone up. Because, I mean, sometimes I used to get, you know, afraid to speak in front of, like, these big surgeons and the president of the hospital and this stuff. And now I'm like, man, I'm putting myself out there on the internet. You know, like, this is just a room with 10 people in it or 20 people. This isn't a big deal. And,
Totally.
yeah, I think
That's
it's just helped
awesome.
me out in life.
That's awesome. I saw your video answering the question of your
Yeah, I've
reader.
started to do a Q&A from, like, yeah, my blog and my fan page. People ask me questions, so I'm starting to answer them through video.
That's
Oh, that's
awesome.
cool, Kristen.
That's
I didn't know
very
you were
cool.
doing that. That's
Yeah.
very cool.
Yeah, it's fun. I like doing it, and I mean, and it gives you good content too. Because if one person has the question, other people obviously have it too.
That's what Tony Rush does for his team, actually. If somebody asks him a question, whether it's in an email or a private message or even in his group, that he thinks that would benefit the rest of the team, then he just cuts a video and puts it in the group. So
Really?
yeah,
That's
so
awesome.
you're
That's smart.
operating on Tony Rush wavelength.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Wow. It's smart. You do it once, and it's out there for anybody else that ever has that same question, especially for team building. That's pretty. Because let's face it, you know, usually get the same questions over and over again. So
Yeah.
here you go. Video number.
Yeah.
Video number. Click the link below.
Oh, on that note, anybody that's watching, click the link below. Subscribe to the channel and come back next week.
You want to have some fun like we are? You got to click that link below, that's for sure. That's where it all starts.
There's room for 10 of us on the panel, so we could just
Oh, we got plenty of room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any closing thoughts?
Wow, that went by so fast.
I know.
It really did.
Goodness.
Wow, it really did.
Stay connected. That would be my closing thought. Don't let yourself get isolated just because we have all of these fun gadgets and things around that we can hide behind. You know, stay connected, because the human connection is actually what keeps us alive and keeps us happy and motivated. And you know, a virtual hug isn't the same as a physical hug. However, if you are without your physical hugs, you can meet one of us or get in touch with some other people and go get your virtual hug too. That just lift your spirits and remind you that you are a human being. You need to stay in touch with each other.
With I'd say with every one of these that we do, you know, we are building that social media, tree. We're digging our roots deep, and we're expanding our branches wide. I just feel like every one that I do, it's like I get to know someone different, someone new. I get to know a little bit more about them, and it's very rewarding, and it's growth for me too, because I get to learn from each and every one of you lovely ladies, and anyone else that I'm on the panel with. It's like everyone has their own way. I mean, such as what Kristen just shared. I mean, that's brilliant. You know, that's something that we can all take away and apply to our businesses and in our lives, anything that we're doing. So there's so much value here. Value to be able to connect with others when, you know, we're feeling lonely or whatnot, and also for growth, for learning. It's great. And thank you all. And Susan, thanks for having me.
Thank you, Susan. Yes.
Thank you, Susan.
I so look forward to this hangout I mean, I like all my hangouts every week, but this one just so quickly has come really close to my heart. And I was just doing them very random before, just every week was different people, and that was great as well. But very quickly, this one has become, I want the same ladies.
Thank you.
Well,
I'm
thank
really
you.
enjoying it. I
What a
appreciate each
compliment.
one of you. Thank you.
That's a nice compliment, Susan.
That's
Thank you.
great. Thank you.
So anybody that's watching, come back next week because we just keep on getting better. And join us. It doesn't matter whichever one of us invited you here because we don't benefit from each other financially. We're all on different teams, and we all work together. So come or get back with the person that invited you. And see you next week.
All right.
All right.
See ya.